if you can explain what is the crack?
Hey,
The crack.
How can I have the crack? What's the crack?
What is the crack? You are the crack.
Do you know that if it wasn't for you and your relationship with Barstool, I probably would have never ran for Congress?
really?
Do you know Elliot Harding?
Yeah, I do.
He was my campaign
Oh,
advisor.
no way.
Did you know that?
No way.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. Kid went to my high school.
Yeah,
He's not
I
a kid
think he's-
anymore.
I think he's friends. I think he was in Kyle's grade.
Yeah, he was in Kyle's grade.
But
That's
he was
funny.
the one who hit me up. It was like, yo, if you really want
You
to run
really
for-
need a plan.
Yeah, he's like, he connected me with these great guys, Zach Weller, and like that's what got the whole thing in motion.
Well, dude, I was telling you, one of my producers, Matt, hit me up one morning. It was like, you see Billy's running for Congress? I'm like, what the fuck? So I look, and then he's like, I'm writing this think piece about him because remember he took us to that Russian bar and he might just be real friendly with the Kremlin and he's a and then I saw you on the news and I was like, holy shit, is this real? Was it real?
It was real. It got to the point where I was like, you know what? I was having conversations with, because they're real political advisors. They're real, like, you know, they sort of have an apparatus. Here, let's turn this off for copyright.
So they have like a filtering system to see if you're worth investing in.
They do. And so they checked it out and they're like, look, you have a real chance in this district. Go for it. And they're like, do you really want to do this? Like, think about it. So I was like driving. I saw a bald eagle.
You thought about it.
And I was like, I need a sign right now for me to do this.
Yeah.
Sorry about the jet ski in the
Yeah,
background.
it's fucking, you know, that thing's a bombardier. It only goes like 60 miles an hour. It's taking sweet time. Jesus.
But I was driving and I was like, should I do this or is this just another stupid idea that's like gonna go badly? Which I mean, it didn't.
Nah, you can say you ran for Congress. That's,
But I saw a bald
didn't
eagle.
get, which is kind of a win not to get it.
Yeah, but also I didn't get beat because they disqualified me in like the craziest, like basically the only reason why I didn't make the ballot was that I did not have $1 million to fight a $1 million court case.
What?
Yeah, that's how they did it. They counted.
They struck you down
they
because they were
challenged
afraid
me.
of your power, bro. That's crazy.
They hit me with 3,000 counts of fraud for every single signature I got on the when I was collecting signatures for the ballot. They said that every single one was fraudulent, even though that's just factually incorrect because I literally collected a lot of them myself. And then
That's
in order
part
to
of the
fight,
playbook now.
Yeah. And I was like,
Those didn't count.
yeah, I don't even know how the hell. I didn't know it was going to be that messed up. And then the judge who was on my case, she was like, I can't make, allegedly, she's like in bed with the Nassau County Republican Committee. It was a whole wild and crazy crooked that when like looking back, I'm like,
It's like, why do you want to get into that?
Yeah.
Because there's only more of that inside the door. Then you become one of those people that's not that you have that in you, which is why you'd never. I have a theory that like people that run for office, it's self-selective.
Right.
Like a certain type of person has to run for office. And most of those people are not people I would want leading the country or a district. And then beyond that, it's like to actually ascend to the presidency, you got to be like a fucking.
Well, no, I made the choice where it was like I was not willing. Yeah, I was not willing to do what it took and do the things that it would take to be able to stay on the ballot, which would have been with a very small % chance of winning the court case, raise millions of dollars.
Because guess what? Most people aren't willing to do the things it's going to take to get to that point, which is why we got a bunch of people that I think could run the country sitting at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably just trying
the
to
only
make
thing
enough
between
money.
them and doing it is experience, the willingness to rip somebody's throat out along the way, and like a lot of money. Obviously, that's the biggest one.
The premise was really with my run was just like, okay, like I think I have decent common sense on political issues. What would happen if I just ran and was just like, let's just do the right thing?
Yeah.
And see what happens. And
I just got Forrest Gump saying, I think I'll go home now. And that's you stopping running.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is disgusting.
Well, I'm glad you survived that, because I got to be honest. I see you in a suit. I'm like, man, that's not you. I see you out in East Africa coaching football. I'm like, you're in your element.
That was awesome. East Africa is such a beautiful place.
It is. The people are amazing, dude.
Oh my! Oh,
the dudes on those teams. It's fun to be around them and get their sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's fun to me. It's like there's a different kind of sense of humor in every place you visit.
Yeah.
And those motherfuckers have fun. And they're funny. And if you don't understand what they're saying, they're talking about you.
Yeah. No, I mean, the funniest thing, like those dudes were, and this is what kind of, when I was crying in the back of the cab leaving the first time, like what got me was like, and you probably would understand, is like they would run through a brick wall. Like their attitudes when it came to like playing the game of football, and like literally like, hey man, like you need to maintain, contain. Yeah. Like I know you want to go after the quarterback, but you have to.
The guy dives into the bleachers to like head first to
like to maintain, contain. And I'm seeing these guys like all the intangibles that like high school coaches talk about, all those like you want to be like that guy. He goes the extra mile. Yeah. We had a 300-pound defensive tackle running 40 yards downfield to make a tackle, and like I'm trying to help them get in touch with some like JUCO, maybe D3 coaches
those dudes
to play.
Are so humble and so hardworking, and so like their values are awesome. It's just like a really cool place where like it's a small town feel. I mean, you might have been in a city, I don't know, but we were where I'm at. It's like it's more rural, and it's just dudes are like they love to have fun, man. They're just with everything going on, and I don't assume there were things going on that were tough where you were, but like where I go with the water, it's like, bro, I would be moping around like a motherfucker. Yeah. And everybody's just vibrant, full of life, man.
I mean, literally, these guys were robbed by the head of the organization for a bus that would take them like a pretty
corruption's crazy.
Yeah. And literally they were on a bus for 2 days. Imagine playing a football game after not being fed and not being in a bed for 2 days.
And then their bus got robbed.
Well, the bus, they just didn't get a bus.
Oh, okay, got it.
And they were about to not make it to the game until
that's crazy.
And then play a full football game.
That's crazy. But
they didn't even stretch.
But they're not like in America. The kids would lose their minds at that point. By that point. And anybody, if you gave dudes in Tanzania like this upbringing here where it's the NIL atmosphere, it's like everybody's the same. It's just how you grow up. Yeah. And those dudes are growing up where like it's all about what you see is what you get, and the values are like, I want to have fun and play this thing that I've never done before and do it like a million miles an hour. It was so fun watching dudes learn to they didn't know what to do with football at first, some of the porters. You bring a football up the mountain, and they go to like. At first, I think a dude tried to kick it because he's just like soccer, bro. Yeah. But I bet you had some challenges teaching them the game because that's a complex game.
I'm gonna be honest. Between Madden, social media,
Madden helps, dude.
Madden, like these guys were playing like on apps, like the Android Madden app, like the accessibility of football, and there's tons of resources being implemented in Africa to grow the sport.
Well, NFL is trying to get out there, and they should, because there's a lot of dudes that have had really good careers who were West African or maybe like just moved over when they were kids. Yeah,
there's a whole talent pool in there. There's a dietary difference, which like. It's a very low protein diet they have over there.
Well, right, yeah.
Which I think is the biggest hurdle.
So if you gave dudes like American nutrition, like training tables, it'd be insane.
I'm literally telling college coaches now, like, yo, get this guy in a U.S. American college cafeteria and a weight room, and he will become the most like the greatest football player you would ever coached. Yeah. Like he has the work ethic, like the IQ of the game. He's tough enough, and if you just get him in the cafeteria, he's gonna put on the pounds, and he's gonna.
Remember that NBA players can play in the NFL thing? Yeah, I think there's more NFL players on your football team out there
than in the NBA. I mean, the thing is, the NBA guys would just get. They wouldn't last. I don't think a single one would last a full game.
I think they're tough. I think they're tough in a different way. I just think it's a specialized tough, dude. Like the things that you get used to dealing with. These guys would have to start from an early age and then continue. Yeah. And then, I just think the biggest thing for me is like, no, it's a fucking skill sport too now. right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying these guys got everything, but there is a period of time that's going to take to get somebody to the point where they're like, I feel like a football player out there. You can be big, strong, fast,
Right.
but if you don't know what you're doing, it's like, that's why I imagine teaching guys in another country, whether it's Europe, there's a lot of European guys coming over now to play. Like I played with 2 German dudes that were like straight out of Beer Fest, and they'll tell you it's like
in the NFL.
Yeah, Marcus Hunt.
Were they like Army, like on the U.S. bases in Germany? Like
no,
Army
they're just German dudes. Sebastian Vollmer for the Patriots.
Yeah.
There was another guy for the Colts, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but he's from Estonia, I think. And so like there are NFL athletes out there, but the NFL is great because in America we play football early, and like there are skills developed. Now there are some bad skills developed, which is why I think there's a fine line too early for some kids to play tackle football because you're not building any good habits. Yeah. But it's a sport like every other fucking sport. They try to boil it down like it's just a meathead like see ball get ball thing, and like try to learn Madden if you've never played football before. The reason why you get your ass kicked by somebody who's played Madden a bunch or has played football is because they understand the game. They understand coverages. They understand angles. They understand when to play zone, when to play man. And like to just think you're just going to sit somebody out there in the middle of the field and he's going to have the instincts because he's tall and fast to just be Fred Warner is like insane to me.
Well, I mean, like even something, and this was our hardest learning curve, was maintaining contain in our defensive scheme, and like just the whole leverage.
It's still hard for the pros. Yeah. It's hard. They don't know how to teach it.
And like you couldn't teach that to like, I don't think an NBA player would have the like
it's
dexterity.
Just instincts. And also it's using your hands every day for a long time. Like I was I don't know, the way a blacksmith swings a fucking hammer, that's the way I use my hands every day. Yeah. I have like fucking calluses and grooves all over my hands. Like I worked with my hands for my entire life. And the placement of your hands, the timing, the accuracy, you talk about pass rushing.
The durability.
You know how many great athletes I play with that just couldn't play? Yeah. You're acting like we never had a 6'6", 270-pound guy that ran a 4.5. I'm telling you, they're out there. There's a guy on the fucking Cowboys, Sam Williams, who's built like a Greek god, and he's fucking huge, and he runs down as a gunner on punter. Like, we don't need more athletes. Yeah. Like, we have a bunch of guys who run 4.3 now. So it's just about, like, skill development, and in other countries, it's just widening the net to find the next great player. Because you just have America to choose from now, and then maybe you're plucking some guys from Africa or from Europe. Imagine when it's like people in Brazil are playing American football. Not that you'd ever be able to break in. It'd be like soccer in America there. Yeah. But like if Europe starts coaching it well from an early age, like you've been over there, they're trying. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about trying to play in Europe. Like go to Italy. My buddy did that.
Dude, I was over in Florence for a time.
2 of my buddies did it.
And I was like, this would be, but the whole thing about only having 2 players, and there's like 2 American players. Yeah. And there are a lot of American football players who are better than me.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but like also there's some smaller leagues that like, I don't remember exactly how many guys. I had a buddy that played in the NFL that went over there to play for fun. Like, like after he played, he was like, and he didn't have a long career. And then I had another buddy who made a camp named Nate Lyles who went over there and played, I think, for the other guy, Brendan Schmidt. And those guys had a ball, man. And John Grisham's book is Playing for Pizza. And I never read the book. I'm not going to act like that, but I'm going to read Night of the Grizzlies. It's all about that thing. It's like American football over there, I think. And so it's a really cool. I think you should do it if you can. You're young, you don't have any kids.
I need to get back in shape.
No, do you?
No, I don't.
I think
I was ripping those games in Uganda after drinking like 20 beers.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's the thing. Like, that's an interesting topic, is like how some professional athletes can abuse their bodies and still be great.
I mean, I never did it when I was actually playing. I was playing in Kenya after thinking that the game was canceled. And I was just so pissed off. So I was like slugging beers. But I was like, oh my God, we actually might play.
I never could play with it. I didn't try to play with a hangover. Like one of my spring games in college, I was a little hungover. But like some older guys in the NFL used to go out on like Friday nights. And just some guys do, especially younger guys. But old NFL guys might pop out for a couple drinks. And to me, a guy who was always like in bed at 10, like during the season, it was like, dude, I don't know how some guys do this. And some guys will go out on Friday and just fucking get tanked, and then they still feel great Sunday. And
that's insane.
Because I'm really in tune with my body.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't get enough sleep, if I didn't, you know, like it's just going to be, I'm going to notice it.
I mean, I don't understand how these NBA guys, that's another thing about the NBA. They're going out every night.
But I don't mean this reductively or like demeaning the sport, because it's a fucking tough sport and it's very physical, but like it is basketball still. You know, like imagine going out, and if you were as great as them, if there were a bunch of Billy footballs, 6'2.5", 3", 6'4".
I like to say 6'3" and a little.
I'm 6'3" and 3/8.
I tell girls I'm 6'4".
Yeah, okay. So I just like, if there were a bunch of Billy footballs and everybody was of equal stature and like talent, and you were playing in a basketball league. Like athletically, you could get up and play with a hangover or after being out. But playing a football game is like you go to the wall, bro. Like
your life is on the line.
Well, it's not survival like as you're gonna die, but like it's survival, like embarrassment, emasculation. Like any play, you could just get fucking embarrassed. Any play, you know, somebody's in your gap, and it's like I was talking to another football player about this recently. The stress of failure and pressure and like, you know, day to day, like the high standard for quality excellence. What you see on the field is like the best of the best of the best, the best. And when they fuck up, that tells you something. Because like even guys that you think are bad at football in the NFL are fucking amazing players. When you saw the 53rd guy on an NFL roster play in Great Falls, Montana, or in Mississippi or in Virginia, they're still talking about that motherfucker. Yeah. But look how he looks out there. Yeah. It is so hard, man. And the fucking standard for excellence and the way you get dog cussed and talked down to, and you got to put up with it, and the fucking fans, the way, and it's the best life in the world and they're paid well, but there was a lot of stress, man, involved with that job.
Oh, no doubt.
And so I just couldn't do it unless I was at my best. Now, after the game, I would go out and get just absolutely ripped.
Yeah. I mean, do you think some people try to combat stress by doing it before the game?
It's possible. I mean, the way I would smoke, you know, like, and I'm not saying I go out high, but I'm saying like, hey, night before the game, I'm combating stress. I can sleep without it, first off. But like Sunday morning, there's a night game at 8. I'm going to smoke in the morning.
Sunday morning?
Oh, fuck yeah.
What?
And then I go play great, get a nap, sleep as long as I can. I wouldn't leave my room because I was so fucking stressed, dude. You know, just like being in that hotel, man, the night before game, if you care, it's like, I don't know how people sit there all day before a night game. When I was in St. Louis, we only played noon games. Yeah. Right?
So then was that a big problem when it came to the playoffs?
No, it was just jarring when I went to good teams. Yeah. And we were doing these primetime games, and like, I'm a creature of habit. Right. Like I want to get going. Yeah. You know, like, hey, it's 1 o'clock. I want to hit somebody. And I'd be in that room just fucking stressed out. So yeah, I would smoke in the morning, but you're not high all day. Right. You're just high in the morning. And you go to bed and you wake up at 5 and you're like, you drink 5 cups of coffee and you go out there and you're like.
Oh, so you'd sleep before primetime games, like during the day?
All day, if I can. Wow. Yeah. I would fight it. I would just try to get as much sleep as I could. And honestly, sometimes I feel like you get to the park a little sleepy, but by game time, you're fucking.
Wow. And then like imagine the juxtaposition of guys being on a bus for 2 days and then playing a game.
Bro, we used to complain about like travel, and this is the baby pro athlete thing where you're like, we flew out here the night before, everybody's stiff, you know, like. Jeez. But yeah, like it
does matter.
It matters, and if you're asking us to be a certain level of excellence, and if you, then maybe take the travel a little more seriously, or take things into account, like how close to the airport is the hotel? Yeah. How comfortable is the hotel, right? Like, do guys need roommates? Like young guys that are getting paid $1 million, do they need a roommate on the road? Like, is that optimal? Could we not splurge on another room? What if one guy's got sleep apnea? Yeah. I had a guy that I used to have to sleep in the tub. Cliff Ryan.
You used to sleep in the bathtub before games because you had a.
One night I did.
Oh,
Fucking
damn.
took all my shit in there, and because I used to like hit him and be like, Cliff. He's a D tackle from Saginaw, Michigan. He went to Michigan State. He's one of my boys, and he's lost a lot of weight since, so he doesn't snore anymore, I don't think. But he used to. It was like a fucking foghorn. And you're telling me on my rookie deal, not saying I earned it because I was a high pick, but like back then we made a lot of money. You're telling me that the best thing for me to get a good night's sleep before asking me to go play 80 plays was to have a roommate that snores?
Would you be able to go down to the hotel and get your own room?
One time in San Francisco, I did that, but I had more clout at that point. Like when Jeff Fisher was the coach in St. Louis, I had a lot of clout. Like I was one of the dudes, and I was one of the best players on the team, and Jeff liked me, and I loved Jeff, dude. And he was real cool about player shit. Like he used to give us sleep in Thursdays because he knew I liked to sleep in. And he used to just do it just to see the reaction when he announced it. We would start at like 11 a.m. But he understood that we needed sleep. Like coaches don't sleep. And one of the problems is they're like, we're working. Why aren't you guys working? We don't need to be in maybe at 7 a.m. on Thursday because guys need 9 hours. They're repairing their bodies. They're recovering. So long story short, we're in San Francisco, 2-day trip, which Jeff did. We used to go out on Fridays to the West Coast, which was awesome. I used to love that. Because you get more sleep. You kind of like, San Francisco was cool as hell. We'd go out there and fucking walk around all day Friday afternoon, get food together. That makes a team stronger, right?
Yeah.
But I had this fucking room at this hotel, and it was super old. This hotel was like ancient. And I checked into my room, and I had a weird feeling. I was just like, something's off. And I'm real in tune with ghost shit, dude. Like I really do believe in them, and I think I can tell when they're around.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm over there. Something bad happened in this room, and my door to my bathroom goes like kind of shuts.
Oh my God.
And then the TV did something, and I'm freaking out, bro. I'm freaking out. So it's about 10 o'clock, and I call our fucking security guy. His name was Steve Miller. And I'm like, Steve, there's a fucking ghost in my room, dude. And he's like, Chris, say no more. We'll get you a brand new room. So they fucking got me a brand new room, upgraded. When I got in that room, I went to sleep. But before I went to sleep, I got on my fucking phone and started Googling the name of this hotel. And some actress was murdered a floor above me in like 1940. It was like a famous haunted hotel. So basically, I think there was a ghost in there, and Fish hooked me up and changed rooms. But most times, you get the room you get. It's usually great. Like those guys on that team in Tanzania would be like, "Oh, we're kings, bro. We're staying at the fucking Marriott."
Yeah, dude. Uganda.
Like,
I mean, it's crazy because but you couldn't if you had a roommate, he was snoring, you couldn't by yourself take your wallet, go downstairs.
Sometimes it's so late. You're like, I've already tried to sleep for 45 minutes. I'm half asleep. I don't sleep well anyways.
Yeah.
So I've already chewed a Lunesta or something, trying to like.
Damn.
And then I'm like, I'm all loopy. I'm gonna go all the way downstairs. It's bright. They might say no.
Yeah.
It's just guys with clout can get certain things, and some guys. Jim Haslett, when he was my second coach, he used to let guys go home the night before the game, so we didn't have to go to a hotel.
Even during home games?
Home games.
Oh, you always have to stay in a hotel for
At home games too.
Oh man.
Which sucks, dude.
Is that a regular thing across
for
the
most
league?
teams? I feel like for most teams.
Huh.
And most teams I was at, like in for the Patriots, we check into some hotel, which was not great. No offense, but I'm like, it's fine. Is there a bed? Does the smoke alarm go off when I vape? Is there decent food? Yeah. So we used to stay at the airport Sheraton, I think, in Philly or in St. Louis, and I love that place because like. Those fucking airport hotels are always comfortable because motherfuckers are tired when like pilots and shit. But then in Philly, we stayed like at the airport where it was like actually inside the airport. So I had to go into the terminal.
Yeah.
And park in a parking garage, and you'd hear the planes like all night. So it's not optimal. The best night's sleep might be at home, but they're afraid the young guys are going to go out there and get busy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They knock on your door at 11 o'clock at night. They bed check you, the whole thing.
That's crazy. We had bed checks in college, and that always used to. Some guys would get in trouble for being in the library in college, which was the wildest thing. because
no, I don't want that if I'm a football
I
coach.
know.
I want you don't study in books.
Yeah,
I want you studying playbooks.
I mean, it was weird because we went to a better academic school than a football school by any means.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things with the new coaching staff that came in my freshman year that they didn't really
I'd
understand.
have done the same thing. What are we doing in a library? We don't need you to be. I'm
Like,
just
you're not
saying,
actually studying the
Are
library.
you being a smart kid?
No, you're
we need you to
making
eat rocks tomorrow, man.
No, but what was the story? So when you got into a fight with your brother
Yeah.
in the middle of a game,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we were seeing all this new, like, it's gotten to the point where there's now more generations of, Bronnies in the NBA. Like, you were one of the first, in my memory, like, football families.
Yeah. And there's a big wave that's kind of like, and there were some other guys before us, but like now it's like, and there's some guys like the Boses who you didn't know their dads, but they're really good. And there's some guys that like, that are better than their dads, and their dads were good, like Steph Curry and Brunson's dad, I think, played or coached.
Yeah.
Anyways,
what was going through your head?
well, that thing, dude, like, we didn't fight. It wasn't me and him fighting. It was so William Hayes is one of my best friends. He was crazy dude, believed in mermaids, didn't believe in dinosaurs, like otherworldly strength.
I saw that clip.
Bro, you saw the guard he put on his back?
Yeah, that was insane.
Bro, he was one of the strongest human beings I ever played with. Super underrated player. Anyways, but the biggest agitator and shit disturber of all time, and the funniest person I've ever met. And one of my best buddies. And we took the D-line, this is before Kyle's rookie year, to Vegas. And we went to the pool rehab, and like we just blew it out. Like, I'll put it this way, like, to get to the club, because they always rush you in the door and you got to be there on time. Boy, do I hate the hardo bouncers at some of these places.
I don't go clubbing.
Steal your vape pen. Well, yeah. So we got to get Will out the door. We can't find Will. He's under a tree in front of the wind feeding pigeons. Like, it's like 10 a.m. We're like, Will, we got to go. He's like, where are we going? We're going to the fucking pool party. So we pile in.
Yeah.
We got Kyle with us. So we brought Kyle. And Kyle spent a day with our D-line, and it was like we were all boys.
Right.
And it was great for me as a big brother that it just worked seamlessly. And then it got in my head that, like, on the schedule next year, Will and Kyle are going to play each other, and they've been like best friends all weekend. I wonder how that's going to go. And I guess Will had chirped Kyle a little bit in Vegas. I'm not sure. But when it got to the game, I think Kyle was so stressed about playing me, which to me makes no sense, because I look at my brother. I told him this last week. I'm like, bro, like, you're the man.
Yeah.
I know that, like, I'm older than you. And I think he looks up at my dad, and there's a big shadow. And then he felt like maybe there was a shadow with me. And we were talking about it. I was like, I had to go first, motherfucker. It's harder.
Yeah.
But he's like, you, Chris, you always do things right. I'm like, bro, you do everything great. There's no need to be nervous. And he was so nervous because he was a rookie. And I think he just was nervous about losing to me or getting embarrassed or like something. So when Kyle gets nervous, Kyle gets mad.
Yeah.
And so Kyle was just fucking out there mad,
like
dude.
a spooked horse.
Bro, and so he was mad, and I totally get it, because our D-line was really good. Like, we were fucking good, and he didn't want, like, I'm sure it's all he heard about all week, and all he heard about was, you're playing your brother, and I was tired of it too. Like, did you guys wrestle in the backyard and shit? I'm like, no, we were a fucking normal family. We just both ended up being really big and played in the NFL. Like, it's not like some football movie, dude. And we got so tired of the questions, I think he just had it. And Will did something to him after the play, like just a little extra shove. And I'll never forget seeing Will. He looked like somebody who was getting trampled by one of the bulls in Spain.
Pamplona,
bro.
Yeah.
And this is the strongest person I've ever played with, and I'm just watching him like limbs everywhere, like just
bodied.
Kyle's just taking him for a ride after the play, picking him up in the air and body slams him onto the ground, like to the point where all of Will's limbs are in the air. And I'm like, It's kind of like watching in Godzilla.
Yeah.
Did you see the new one?
Yeah. Oh,
it's
insane.
an incredible movie.
Amazing movie.
You get it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Dude, I watched the old ones.
Remember when they thought Takeo was coming?
Yeah.
And he was going to say the heavy cruiser was going to save?
Yeah.
That was like what I thought Will was.
Yeah.
And then Kyle was Godzilla.
Yeah.
And he just fucking destroyed him in like a split second. And he threw him down on the ground and he went to punch him. And I think he punched him a few times and he gets up. And as he's like literally giving Will a ride, I'm running off the sideline full speed, which is a penalty, but they didn't know that I guess I ran from the sideline. So I'm sprinting because I'm like, maybe I can help.
Who are you going to help or just break it up?
I feel like because I'm Kyle's big brother, I still feel like, and it's a stupid thing like a bird on a hippo, but I still think I could take him, which I can't. It's just here.
Yeah.
And I also feel like maybe I'm the one that could be like, calm down.
Were you there to instigate or?
No, I was there
like,
to fucking, because I didn't want him to get ejected.
Oh.
Because guess what happens when he gets ejected? And he raised his foot to kick Will in the head, dude. And I got there right before and pulled at him, and he's so strong that he went like this, and his jersey, like I got a hand on his jersey, and I look and I just have a big piece of his jersey in my hand. He just ripped my hand off his jersey, and the jersey went with it. And he goes to kick him, and I just pull him back, and we're all pushing him back. But my thought was like, this motherfucker, dude, I got 40 people here that I'm supposed to take to the Ritz-Carlton after the game and entertain, and they're all here for the Brother Bowl.
Yeah.
They come from Philly, from my dad's friend from Villanova to my friends back home, and you're going to get ejected like a dumbass, and then I'm going to be at the post game like a funeral. Like, you know what I mean? And so I didn't want him to get fined, the whole thing. And I can just remember lining up the next play, like Will's like, I thought we had something in Vegas, Kyle. He's got this North Carolina accent. Kyle, what happened? I thought we had something in Vegas. And Kyle's like just snarling at him, and you can't control this motherfucker. And I was like, hey, motherfucker, FedEx. All I remember saying was FedEx, because he's just going to get a big bill in his locker on Monday. And I was like, you dumb motherfucker.
I mean,
you should be ejected, and you're going to get a big fat FedEx. You idiot. Like I was talking to him like a little brother.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone would just want to be like, oh, brothers rivalry.
Well,
like,
yeah, people are stupid with that stuff.
But the fact that I was like, we got our whole family here, like, don't fuck this up.
Oh yeah, it was like if you had a big dinner party and you're like, Kyle, like, chill.
Like, Kyle, don't fight my buddy.
And to
right
Kyle's
before.
credit, I just want to say this. I'm not trying to make Kyle out to be a monster. He just, when he played, he had a short fuse. He's not that way now. My dad was that way. He's not that way now. I had a short fuse. I said, Kyle, when your fuse goes off, like, people can get hurt. You know what I mean? When my fuse goes off, like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But his fuse is like, holy shit, we got to evacuate, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Chernobyl.
That's a dynamic that no one thinks about. Like your buddy who's small, who's got like a high temper, and like he buzzes off at the bar, and he's like, "Yo, dude, just relax, go sit somewhere else." Like he's not gonna hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Total opposite end of the spectrum.
No, yeah, because if Kyle got mad and Kyle and Nate Collins, Dr. Facts, on my pod.
Yeah.
They fought at fucking Hallis Hall like brothers, you know, like they know each other.
Yeah.
For years. They were in one-on-one pass rush, and they just started fucking throwing haymakers supposedly, and it was like a knockdown drag out, and fucking Tressman was like, you guys are brothers, get out of here. Like, both of you guys go back to the locker room. Like, if you hear Kyle tell the story, it's amazing. But they had to go and walk through the indoor, like on this like mile walk with each other after they fought. And then they went into the cafeteria because nobody's in the cafeteria. It's all people still practicing. They kicked them out of practice, and they said they had to eat lunch with each other. Right after the fight, they're sitting there in silence. And so my point is, like, just Kyle was, every O-line has like kind of an enforcer, and Kyle was the guy that people were like, yo, he's a little scary. Yeah, I know him because I live with him and I grew up with him, and I also feel like I can be like, hey buddy, stop. Like,
you could be a voice of reason in a time of chaos.
But that time of chaos, it just took another 5 people is what I needed. So
that's insane.
So just move him, dude.
I mean, he's the biggest human I've ever like Matt. Like, I've seen tall people. Yeah. But when I saw him that one time when I was 18, I stayed at his house. I was just like, oh my God, he's bigger than the back of Vanny Woodhead.
Yeah, he is. You gotta be around Lane. Lane's enormous. Lane is like a damn strong man.
Oh yeah.
Like, Lane looks like Lane has abs. Like, he's got a V.
Dude.
And he's 310.
I was looking for Strongmen in Iceland. I was
You were
over in
looking to find
Iceland.
one?
No, I was like DMing all of them.
You were
I was
DMing
like, I was
Strongmen?
like, I was trying to interview them. Like I was like, yo, like I'm gonna be in Reykjavik, part of this American company, because I just wanted to see these like
Did
giants.
anybody hit you
No,
back?
dude. I mean, Hathor Bjornsson, of course, like, it's gonna be fell on deaf ears.
You know what you should have done?
What?
Because we don't know the difference. We're so dumb.
Yeah.
You should have just found one who was like super semi-pro
I
and
was
just
looking-
pawned him off as like one
Yeah.
of the top.
No, I did.
Very strong. He is very strong.
I DM'd like there's like I looked up the top 10 in Iceland, and then there's creme de la creme, like Hathor Bjornsson, and then there's all these underlings that like don't they're not in any movies. Like, and I just wanted to see these guys, just be like maybe like check out their workouts in the gym, maybe just like I just really wanted to work out.
No, it
with them.
totally makes sense. It's just I'm just imagining you like, was it a copy and paste DM? Or did you try to put a little different touch on everyone just in case Bjorn sent Theorn
Yeah.
and was like, look at this guy. It's the
Like, who
same
the fuck's
fucking
this
thing.
guy? I did a lot of copy pasting.
Did you get in their wikis and be like, yo, I really saw what you did in Reykjavik
Yeah, dude. Like
in 98. That was awesome the way you cleaned that.
Estonia 2015. Like no one thought you were gonna beat.
You look so vascular last year, man. What is it? Is
What
it
were
is
you
it
running?
casein protein?
Yeah, I wanted to see like the bathrooms, see the injections, like what are these guys putting in their bodies? Because I heard I've
Cow
done,
pies, dude.
oh dude, freaking straight like
Chicken and rice.
bull testosterone, like
Oh, yeah.
bovine HGH.
Oh, well, I'm not, yeah.
Bovine fertility medicine. They were putting on like the stuff that they give cattle to put on more
Would you
meat.
take something?
I don't really have a reason to anymore. I wish I would
Why?
go.
Because
Well, like, what am I gonna do?
You've got a sig other.
No, well, what? No, am I gonna get jacked? And what am I gonna take that? Like,
No, I don't know. It looks fun sometimes. It's the thing I've realized is as my liver or what's here.
that's your liver.
Yeah, my liver's a little like sore right now. I don't think I could handle steroids.
It's sore from drinking. What?
No, I just got a little pinch. All right, so
Okay.
I'm just talking about steroids and my liver started
I
hurting.
was just,
So
you're really in touch with your body.
yeah,
He's like,
no,
don't
so
do it.
yeah, my body was like, nah, we don't want to. But like, I don't think people understand. Like, when you get older, and motherfuckers get jacked. Like, I look good right now. I'm lean. I don't eat bullshit. But there's some people who got muscles. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, not all of y'all are just working for those
Oh,
solely.
it's a lot of TRT.
And my thing is like, maybe I should be looking at something like that. But also, is it worth the risk?
Well, I think there's a lot more of the safer, like TRT stuff. Like if you're not doing the trend, like these
What's TRT? Testosterone
replacement. So it's just like
therapy.
synthetic testosterone, and like you can do it at superhuman levels where you
But I
put
just got my T tested. It was good.
what was it?
800 something.
Oh, dude, same,
Yeah,
dude.
but I'm 39.
Yeah, that's good for you.
The guy, I was like, I feel like shit. So I got my blood work done, being like, surely there's gonna be something easy that I can fix.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, things are good. You just feel like shit. And I'm like, fuck, maybe it's the Zen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
No, I got my T tested because I was having like, I found out it was my thyroid, but I was having some like heart anxiety issues.
When?
So no, I was getting. I'll talk about it. Like I had this thing where like sometimes my antibodies, my anti-thyroid, it's like a weird thing. It's called Hashimoto's disease.
Dude, I know about it.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I literally thought that I was having a heart attack sometimes in college.
No way.
Yeah,
because
because
I've had palpitations that go pretty hard in my sleep. Like
Yeah.
I'll wake up with adrenaline rushes.
dude.
Did you wake up with adrenaline
I
rushes?
wouldn't be able to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, like my whole
Anxiety
it hit
laying
me
down.
It hit me in college, like hard.
Yeah, mine hit me probably in college, but I also think I drank way too much alcohol.
Yeah,
And that probably makes all
and you
that
don't
stuff.
realize that that's a thing.
No, when you're young and drinking a bunch of alcohol, like you're killing yourself. You just have a lot of life left on the
Yeah.
health bar.
Like when you'd wake up in high school, not that you should be underage drinking, but like you like, oh, I'm going to
What
practice
was that?
today. Like,
I'm gonna hit dingers at the ball field
yeah,
today.
yeah, like dude, like oh,
But wait, so you would have them all the time, or just
depending on the time, like sometimes at night, sometimes during the
Throwing a
day.
Zen. Speaking of
Yeah, like your TSH level.
TSH, talk to me about TSH. This is the good stuff
That's
here,
like
Billy.
the thyroid stimulating hormone.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you have anti-thyroid peroxidase,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a certain type of like autoimmune thing where you're basically attacks your thyroid. Then your thyroid, which regulates a ton of hormones, starts leaking T4,
Thyroid juice.
T3. That thyroid juice unregulated, you're just like getting insane. I guess I always had it because like,
But you just didn't know.
it like gives you, it sort of can be a performance enhancer at times, where like it gives you crazy adrenaline, focus, like.
But what's the downside?
The downside is that sometimes it's too much, and you may have been running around with like elevated levels, but when like that your body's hungover or you're not healthy and your autoimmune spikes up, then you're leaking a shit ton, and then it's like.
And how do you feel
my
other
God.
than the racing heart?
You get crazy mental stuff, like you just get
Just anxiety.
and like.
So I have
racing
ADHD,
thoughts.
and I didn't know that it was a real thing like until. Well, I always thought I had it. Like I always knew I kind of had it. Like a couple people were like, "Hey, you have ADHD," and I was like, oh, "Okay, cool."
You ever take an Adderall and then like
I tried.
go to sleep?
I tried.
That's because that's what happened to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. So I tried to. So this was actually a couple years ago. I see a psychiatrist, therapist. Sometimes I don't know the difference, but it's somebody to talk to, and you know, they were kind of like, let's go back through your files from college. Like maybe you have ADHD. And sure enough, like just pulled it up because I took some like testing to try to get out like Spanish.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I failed that, but they were like, oh, by the way, you have ADHD. And I guess I didn't think about it. And honestly, like learning that I did and actually figuring out what it is, it's like empowering, but
Yeah.
also like kind of like, holy shit, there's a lot of work to do, because everything I've ever thought was just like depression, anxiety, fucking the way I was wired, the way I am, like the way I can do one thing and do it for like 20 hours and crush it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm good at like a fucking marathon. Like
Yeah.
I'll be the guy that's like on the wall, like watching all night. But
Yeah,
I
it's-
can't do like a simple thing sometimes.
Oh, it is. It is the
and
worst.
so finding out I had that, it was like, holy shit, I'm kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
But you got to think about it as a superpower.
It is too.
Yeah.
But then I tried the Adderall, and I was like, at first I was like, oh my God, this is how everyone else feels. That's why they do so good.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do good. Because if I felt like this all the fucking time, I'd take over the
Yeah.
world. And then 4 weeks in, I was like, in the morning, I felt like a rattlesnake, dude. And I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
Fucked everything up. So yeah, I mean, like, I'd like to find out if I got a thyroid thing, bro.
Dude, so
You
like,
saved my life.
dude, a lot of thyroid shit. It's like, and the thing is, they don't even test you for it, and there's not much you can do. But like, if you have a lot of weight fluctuations, so like, you know,
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping it on.
yeah,
Creatine helps me a lot
yeah.
because I'll just lose it.
I mean, but you should check out your thyroid hormones because it impacts a lot of. So I actually had it in my family. I didn't know it, but it impacted like more women in my family.
Yeah.
And then I just got it tested because I got my whole panels
You
tested.
fell on that grenade for all the guys.
Yeah.
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 So when you got the medication, do you feel great?
So unless your thyroid absolutely collapses, then you're not going to get any medication. So like mine hasn't collapsed. I just take a bunch of supplements and it like.
So they just know what you need to do to regulate.
Yeah, but then one day it might collapse, one day it might not, and then
What's a vitamin that helps thyroid regulation?
Oh look, deer, dude.
Oh yeah, they're fucking trying to. Hey, trying to eat my shit. Get out of here. Whitey, go get that. He
Whitey.
might kill that deer.
Whitey, your kids, they're
No, my kid's not up there.
Whitey, look.
Look, Whitey. Look, there's a deer. Hey, get out of my yard. Uh-oh. You better
Oh
go.
yeah, he's coming. Oh, let's see if he gets him.
You better go the right way, too.
Look, come on, Whitey. He's
No,
right in
it's
front
good.
of you.
Just Whitey was just like, yo, I'm an American. He was like, yo, I'm an American terrier.
American bulldog.
The deer's like, fucking pit bulls.
Like, no, I'm one of the good kind.
Seriously.
No, I'm not aggressive.
I don't mean the other ones are
I'm
bad.
great with kids.
Oh, man, people are so afraid to talk bad about pit bulls.
Oh, I get it. The thing is, I have a huge theory. I mean, it is the owner, and I have a case study.
Maybe the pit bulls have thyroid problem.
Golden doodles are like all those doodles are a perfect example why it's actually the owner and not the dog, because everyone thinks a golden doodle is a perfect dog,
Super
right?
nice.
Yeah, but poodles are hunting dogs.
Oh, yeah, that's
from
true.
Germany, and they have high aggression. He's been attacked by doodles several times. And
Attacked by like a pack of doodles.
Yeah, by a pack of doodles. That's what's rolling
That's some hoe
around.
shit, bro. They fucking
Yeah.
they couldn't
They jumped him.
There's no fair one
Yeah. No.
for Whitey.
Yeah, roving through white suburban neighborhoods, there's packs of doodles just jumping dudes.
Bro, I wish I'd find a doodle that fucked your dog up. I would
it was
not hurt the dog because I know I'm not allowed to do that. But I would be like, hey, motherfucker.
He was a Bernedoodle in doggy daycare when I was at the in-laws and I couldn't bring the dog. And I tweeted it out. He got bit up bad.
Well, he looks great, dude. That's a great looking dog.
Oh, he's a stallion.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a chiller.
But yeah, I don't know. Fucking
But they don't train for non-aggression. So like if you like there's small behaviors that are signs of aggression that people just dismiss in dogs because they like, it's a golden doodle. Oh, this thing won't do anything bad. Oh, it's Chihuahua. Like this won't hurt anything. But those signs of aggression will have like greater
they can't
effects.
be ignored.
Yeah. So like
I got bit in the face by a fucking yellow lab.
Yeah. Like, how the hell does that happen?
Because the dog had, honestly, I think they found out the dog had a thyroid issue. I swear to God, dude. I swear that's what that's what it was pawned off on. I swear to you, dude. That's not even a punchline,
dude. I'm gonna.
But I think honestly,
somebody.
No, I might have it,
dude. Honestly, and I was. There's a bunch of other people who've had anxiety, and they turn out they have thyroid problems. And literally, and you know what's the best way in those moments that to calm down when you're like, I'm not anxious about anything, but for some reason my heart's pounding out of my chest, my mind's racing, and I have this impending sense of doom.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's
the best way is to say, all right.
Just
honestly, when I get those panic attacks, I try to trick my mind into think of what I'm feeling is actually relaxation. It's kind of fucked up.
You're gaslighting
That's some
yourself.
Jedi shit, though.
Yeah, dude.
I'll be like, oh man, my chest feels warm. Instead of like, oh man, there's chest pressure because I'm having a panic attack.
No, I just work out. I just start running. And usually when I work out, it prolongs any sort of thing like that.
Dude, I'm just telling you because I do struggle with, some shit. But if I don't exercise in the morning, I'm going to have a really different day. And I would tell you, diet and exercise, not saying I do it right. I know when I'm off the wagon doing something I shouldn't be doing. Yeah. But I know the right things to do. And if I do those things, I don't have a lot of anxiety as much as I used to.
I wake up every morning. I try to get a run in. I've figured out that running for some reason in not long distance, but just lifting weights doesn't cut it.
It's primal. You got to run.
Yeah.
Because your ancestors were running.
Yeah. Or sauna. I feel like sauna scratches the itch of getting that run and getting that
cold tub, bro. I know there's a lot of people that have hijacked the cold tub movement and kind of gentrified it.
Yeah.
But cold tubs have been a thing in NFL locker rooms for a long time. Motherfuckers are really needing it. We did it to reduce inflammation, but there are effects that I think we discounted.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of guys go away from NFL facilities and stop doing the things they're doing, and they can think I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Your routine, the way you treat your body. The cold therapy really is an antidepressant. I swear to you.
Oh, dude, and it gets
it's literally your body's okay, when you're stressed, you got to relax. Yeah.
It boosts your T. I honestly think that a majority of there's a lot of men out there who have mental health issues that just have low testosterone from lifestyle impacts or
for sure. I don't think you can ever discount mental health issues that affect people, right? Which is not what you're doing and not what I'm doing. And there are people that have brain chemistry things that need medical intervention, medicine and therapy, and all that stuff can help people that maybe are on the fringe too. But I also think there are some people who are on the fringe that if they exercised and they dieted correctly and they cut out alcohol or things people with anxiety shouldn't be having caffeine.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't know till I was damn near retired.
Yeah.
And so every day I was just putting myself in a pressure cooker, drinking 3 cups of coffee to just stay.
Yeah.
And I would have these terrible come downs. I can remember when I quit coffee, it was holy shit. This has been fucking me for a long time. And then I know Dan would hate this because he's Mr. Coffee, but then I'd have coffee game day and I'd slug 4 coffees. And then I swear to you, after games was the worst night of sleep every night. I'd stare at the fucking ceiling till 6 a.m. sometimes. Heart pounding, anxiety, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Like, did I take too much Toradol today? Is my heart like reacting to the
Yeah.
Toradol? Like,
Toradol.
is it the painkillers? Is it like? But it was the coffee too, though.
Dude,
the
Toradol.
caffeine.
Toradol is one of the greatest highs of my life was Toradol. I don't know if you know this, I got bitten by a Lone Star tick. Became
So
allergic
you got bit by a dog like Whitey.
with a thyroid problem. No, but I got bit by a Lone Star tick, which makes you allergic to red meat.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And it was the worst thing ever. Like the worst couple months, I was having these hives. My whole body was breaking out in hives.
My mom just got bit by a tick. She
Lone Star?
wasn't Lone Star, thankfully, because she does like, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, Lyme's is still the
Yeah, so
worst.
she's had like a couple issues, but I also know people that like got that Lone Star shit and can never.
I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Acupuncture.
Yeah. So I heard you can get.
Yeah. But basically one time I went to the ER with it was the first time I got it.
Yeah.
And I was just hives all over my body.
Yeah.
Like, itching. I was like, oh my God, they hit me with Toradol. It was the greatest.
You never had Toradol? Well, in college you
Yeah.
would get.
It was the greatest relieving feeling in the world. Like being your whole body's
like a
on
hug.
fire.
It's like a hug.
And it's like,
It's like a blanket. Or
and it
a
made
hug
the itching go
or-
away. It made all the itching go away.
Yeah.
And I, better than an orgasm.
Dude,
One of the craziest things. It was in that moment.
I don't know.
In that
But
moment.
jacking off's not going to make me not hurt out there. So I will take
In that
2 shots of Toradol.
I was itching my skin off. I was like, oh my God, what is this? It was a full blown allergic reaction all over my skin because I was literally pounding red meat every day. I didn't know. But that shot, I was like, oh my God.
They got weird about Toradol towards the end of my career where they would stop giving the pills or they would stop giving the shots because it was because I guess it can thin your blood to the point where if you have a bad bruise or a concussion. Anyways, long story short, they're giving out these pills, which is like light cigarettes, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. And I got to one of these teams and the trainer's like, yeah, we don't give shots here. And I was like, well, this is the opener. I'm like, well, Chris doesn't play if Chris doesn't have Toradol. So you need to get the head coach. And so the head coach comes back and is like, and I guess they gave shots on like special basis, but he comes back and he's like, well, it looks like you're giving him a Toradol shot. And so they gave me my 2 Toradol shots. I went on my way. By the end of my career, and sometimes like when I play with I didn't play with like a broken leg, but like after my tibial plateau fracture, I came back that year and it was a bad idea. But like it was 2 shots of Toradol, 2 Ultram, 2 pain offs.
Damn.
And so it was like a cocktail, man. And the amount of stuff that I know some guys are taking is just, it's bad. I know some guys that were taking Toradol on Wednesdays.
Oh my God.
And I had to do that a couple times. Like one time I fractured my elbow and the coach was making me practice kind of. Like I was like, oh really? And so I was like, I'm gonna need a shot. But like guys, I know a couple guys that played in the old NFL that took Toradol every week on Wednesday, and that gotta fuck your liver.
Well, I mean,
and your heart.
What were they doing before like this advanced medicine? I mean, like, did your dad ever talk about?
Yeah, I mean, it was like Neanderthal times, dude. It was just, I think there were pills out on the table. Like there was a book, It's Just a Bruise. And I think it was based on the training room in Oakland, or one of the trainers that my dad worked with. And he said, if you ever want to know about what it was like in the NFL in the 80s, It's Just a Bruise is the book. And, he tells me stories about like shattering his hand and like,
oh my God,
like going up to the ER and trying to play through it, and they gave him a bunch of painkillers, and then when the painkillers wear off, like he's in the hospital and he just starts vomiting because like the pain's so bad. And there were things like that for us, but it's as far as a guy's willing to go. You know what I mean?
Stay here.
It's as far
he's fine. I just don't know.
It's as far as a guy's willing to go.
Yeah. I mean, that must have been I mean, I saw on Greenlight your dad was talking about how he didn't lift weights.
Yeah, he's a freak, dude. Like
he's legit a freak. Never lifted.
Yeah, and another thing is, I also think back then, and I'm not saying we're better now or but it's just the training regimens were different and the linemen were different. Like the linemen weren't as big.
Yeah.
Just now you have to lift weights to survive.
He thinks that's my truck. That's why.
Hey, Troy, is he okay? He's friendly.
He's just
good.
looking to say hi. No, but we probably got to start rapping. We might be here all
Yeah,
day.
we make this the last thing.
Yeah, but that's legit crazy that he was just straight up jacked like that.
Well, that's the thing. Like him and my brother Kyle, and I don't mean to say I'm like a runt, but like they got some Thor genes.
That's
and
insane.
I got like half a pack of it, but like Kyle got like 3 packets, three servings of whatever I got, and come here.
Wait,
He's friendly.
he's friendly. I just
Meg,
don't want.
he's really friendly.
He's a lover. I just don't want.
No, I know. He's
Your wife to be like,
no,
oh.
no, she likes him.
Okay, cool.
Meg, he's an American, not a pit.
He's a good American.
He's a good American bulldog, not a pit.
He's a good American.
So, anyways,
Um,
but Kyle and Dad, they just kind of like. Dad and Kyle are the same way where they just roll out of bed and like
Yeah.
pick things up
Like-
athletically, and they're just amazing.
Did you remember your brother doing any sort of like major powerlifting or he just was out?
He got into it later, and he'll tell you this: like he loved being at the facility and training.
Yeah.
But like in the summer, like when we train, like in Montana, we'd be up here, and I'd be like, "Let's
Yeah.
go lift." And he's like, well, "Lifting." I'm just gonna throw
Dude.
people around in 2 weeks.
So look, here's a reality that might happen.
Yeah.
Just how genetics work.
Yeah.
The Long Dynasty NFL Dynasty might not continue between either you or Kyle. Howie might pop out.
Oh yeah. No.
That-
No. Honestly, I think it continues through maybe one of our kids. That guy right there, Luke. If he ever hits a growth spurt, he can run like a deer.
Really?
Like my oldest son, he kind of wants to be a basketball player, and I kind of want to break it to him. They're like, the odds are stacked against you.
Do you think about that stuff or?
I just think about it as as it pertains to like not putting pressure on him,
Yeah.
because I felt a lot of pressure. You know, it was not ideal. Just like being somebody's kid that you got to
Yeah.
live up to, and so I just want them to be their own kids and like feel like they can just do it.
I think about that a lot with podcasting when I
Yeah.
have kids. Like, don't want to push them into podcasting because
You don't want to be. Hey,
Yeah.
like Barstool comes calling one of your little kids.
like, hey, don't worry.
It's a different world. But
It
yeah,
is.
no, and it shaped a lot of why I waited so long to have kids. Like I waited till the end of my career to have kids.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, don't push on it. Don't pull on his collar.
No,
Yeah, just pet his head.
he's fine.
But yeah, no. So I mean, like that's why I waited, because I can remember being a kid and like my dad coming home and like being beat up and just not totally there, and he's apologized. He said like, man, I'm sorry I wasn't always all the way there mentally. And that's not to say he was like crazy, but just it's hard to be present and be a parent and do that thing every day.
Oh, I bet. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
But why don't we wrap? This has been
To get
amazing.
you east, man.
I gotta hit the road. I might be at like North Dakota at 3 a.m. tonight.
Oh my God, dude. Are you like a trucker? You
Yeah.
can go?
Well, I got that thing where I can just drive for 15 hours straight.
Yeah, I can too.
But I
yeah.
can't like.
It's the thyroid thing.
I
That's the
can't-
upside of the
I
thyroid thing.
can't even answer an email.
Me neither. Me neither. We set this time this morning.
Yeah.
So
It's scheduling's crazy, but
good to see you, buddy.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hopefully having me for a
course,
brief.
man. Of course, come back
hopefully I get-
anytime.
Hopefully, I get picked up soon, so I'm not hanging around too
No,
long.
you're fine. Come on up.
Oh, perfect.
Grab something to drink. or
All right.
something.
Hopefully, this is all recorded.
I'm sure I did, dude.
This was awesome.
Warning, the rest of this episode contains more content regarding the Trump assassination attempt. There was a previous episode on it if you'd like to hear more, but this is your final warning. If you do not like the Trump assassination content, do not continue. And if you do not complain about it. This is your warning.
Hi, and welcome to a very special emergency episode of Audio Crack. We have a special guest that flew out to New York to record this episode. I'm honored. Trust me, we are not allowed to expense a flight for Audio Crack. So very, very happy to welcome on Dante, a repeat guest.
What's up, buddy?
We're in another Dante's Inferno, as we call it. We're back to talking about Donald Trump's attempted assassination attempt. We recorded an episode earlier with some insiders from the Trump campaign on Sunday night. We have a lot more info now on the shooter, some of the progressing implications of it, how they're continuing.
especially the Secret Service's response. We have a lot more information now, and it's honestly making it more confusing.
Dude, I said the same thing this morning and yesterday when it came out that the building was the staging area.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Also, have you ever been? I mean, I'm already off to the races, but
Yeah.
have you ever been in a building with a corrugated metal roof like
Yes.
that? If a pebble is rolling around on there, it's the loudest noise in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's like bang, 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 bang. If someone is up there crawling around, it's making so much noise.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how long that guy was on the roof from
He said
start to
30
finish.
minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, and how long till he took the gun out? Probably 3. He was probably hiding on the other side of the roof.
Did you see the footage that came out yesterday from somebody was shooting it because they went and got authorities and they were like, hey, that kid's climbing up on the roof.
Mhm.
And they started filming. And
Yeah.
it shows him. It's a far angle, so you're looking like at him come up on the roof from the other side, but it shows him like pop up, and it was either he climbed a ladder like they suspect, and he got to the top and he like pushed himself up, or there was somebody pushing him up.
I mean,
but from the video, he definitely like makes it over the edge, and he's like up.
right. He could have propelled himself. What I just sent you is something that has really bothered me about this whole thing. So this photo actually, and I don't think it's been officially confirmed, but someone leaked a photo of the shooter post getting murked. And
It was a different person originally, completely.
it looks like,
But did you read the story on that? It was some Australian like hate group or something that they're trying to like ruin this guy's life. Did you read about this?
No, that was, but look what I just sent you. That's a
Yeah.
picture of a dead guy.
So I see this.
Yeah. So I want you to look at that guy's ears. So that guy's ears look totally different than Crook's ears. And that is like, and
Sure.
if you can see, there's like, you know, those big hoop earrings that like,
Yeah, they're
I forget what those are called, but that just totally
Gauges.
gauges. They totally
Yeah.
stretch out your earlobes.
yeah.
Well, the guy on the left, this Yerrick guy, and look, the only reason I'm talking about this is because I honestly think there's enough evidence here to actually like be like, hey, wait a second. So this guy Yerrick has those gauges in his ears, and the guy in this picture, which no one has confirmed is official, but I mean, it was going around like, you know, it might have been like a Kobe Bryant helicopter situation where a cop took the picture and started sharing it, be like, yo, dude, we got the shooter. But he has what looks like stitched up old gauge holes in his ear.
This is weird. I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this person.
So this,
all.
and this person has been arrested multiple times at multiple Antifa
I just saw the
rallies.
Roger Stone thing.
Yeah.
Linking him. That was a long time ago.
Mm.
So he's been that guy, that Yerrick guy was on their radar
Yeah.
for a long time.
And the thing is, I need to find a video of Crooks with, and you probably, so if you're looking at this photo of the dead guy, he has those, what they call it, like elf tips on his ears.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like you have your like weird cousin or who has elf tips, and it's like, what the hell are those? Like the small protruding like bumps in the side of their ear, which Crooks does not look like he has. So they're saying this is Crooks in the photo, but like even his nose looks different. And I mean,
Dude.
it's just weird. Absolutely weird. Like, is this the same guy? That's my only question. And the thing is, they're not. So you have a 20-year-old kid with zero internet footprint, which I mean,
So that was my big thing is usually, I mean, it's with everything. It's even with these loser school shooters, they're so vocal and they're so radical and they want to be heard and they're just shouting into the abyss, but they leave this big, long track record in, you know, paper trail. And for this kid to have zero, either he legit didn't have one, which is what are the odds of that? Or everything was scrubbed and taken down like so quickly or in advance.
Or maybe he was trying
there's
to
no
cover his
trace to it.
tracks when he's planning this whole thing. There is that element.
But there's still,
Yeah.
as good as anybody. There's still shit's archived. Like you leave a paper trail of some sort. And then the FBI finally gets into his phone yesterday and there's nothing on the phone.
That's what I find really sketchy. I mean, his dad bought the gun apparently. I'm saying he would be the perfect person to frame for this. Or, I mean, he was MK Ultra'd and they were able to get to him somehow to radicalize him and then push him towards doing this and be like, there's going to be an open roof. That's the thing that weirds me out, is that this was a perfect opportunity, right? And let's say this was an actual like lapse in security. Was this guy following every Trump rally till he found the perfect time to strike? And if he wasn't, and he just happened upon that one day he knew that would be open, that's more sketchy than anything else. And, what is his motive? Is he just someone who believes that Trump is total enemy to democracy, or is he an accelerationist?
I mean, dude, you also need to take into account when this happened. I mean, days, we're talking like 48 hours before Trump picks Vance. And this was literally like the last opportunity they had to like throw this thing off the rails and slow this train down, because now that there's a successor in place, like even if they do take Trump, his train's still, speeding towards the station. They're not going to stop it. So if they were, it was going to be this weekend.
Something that I also heard is that there's a difference in electoral protection from after you're nominated officially and before. So there was going to be a way different Secret Service presence after the official nomination.
Totally understandable and fitting. I mean, Obama's in Chicago pretty often, and I mean the city still shuts down for his motorcade and everything, but it's nothing like when Biden's in town.
Yeah.
Like when Biden's in town, like you can't go anywhere for hours.
Yeah.
So that makes sense and is understandable, but at the same time, the level of competency, I mean, I don't think that should take a hit. I see manpower. You don't need, 100 guys if you need 20 or 30, but I mean, dude, why aren't they, here's a question. Why aren't they hiring like retired military or ex-military, like badass intel people?
They usually are
for these jobs.
For the Secret Service?
Yeah.
So the Secret Service was always that. I have a former, my coach, one of my coaches was a former Secret Service operative. And I remember this clear as day, him showing his preparation for like a head of state visiting a city that they were tasked with protecting, notes on notes on notes on notes. And I remember he's like, this balcony, that balcony, blah, blah. The fact that, I mean, that was the type of preparation. And I remember this to this day because like, this is how you should prepare for a football game.
Well, dude, I've been places where the president's coming, or not even the president, but heads of state are coming months down the road, and they do these sweeps and security checks. They go through everybody's background. I mean, if you have a DUI on your record, like you can't work. Like the DNC is coming to Chicago in a few weeks, right?
Right.
They're like the big daddy events they're doing at these places. They're renting out, these halls, these restaurants for all these dinners and stuff. They're vetting staff prior, like former staff and current staff for all these places. And if you have anything on your record, like you're paid leave for 10 days before and after the event, you can't show up or anything like that. They're doing you have to have special IDs to get into the building. It's fucking insane the levels that they go to screen all this stuff, which is again why when this happened, what are we on now? 3 days ago?
I mean,
3 days ago.
Yeah, it was Saturday night. It's Tuesday
when this happened,
today.
Saturday, it was afternoon. But I was just like, this this makes no sense unless like the only thing that would have made sense to me was if it was a coordinated, like multiple person people that know what they're doing, like former military people or even like militia level people, not some 20-year-old fucking kid like on his own lone wolf like that. It just makes no sense.
I mean, I'm now looking at it, and there's now other photos of the Crooks guy, and he was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt, and that guy's came out to denounce it, which is a firearms channel on YouTube. But I'm looking at some other photos, and it does look like it might not be Yerrick, and Yerrick might have been something to distract while they wiped all of Crooks's socials. That's another idea. So like, we really just don't know. But
what's your number one red flag / question from this whole thing? Like, if you could snap your fingers and get anything answered, what would it be?
Probably where he got the information that the roof was going to be open, and whether he was following, if he was a lone wolf following the Trump rallies, or, he had a tip that was the right time. That's something I would want to know.
For me, I want to hear the recording of the guy who took him out being told to stand down. And I want to know who's on the other line,
the head of
the other
Secret
end of
Service.
that mic,
because
telling him to stand down.
They're also they're supposed to shoot a guy like that automatic.
On site, dude.
Yeah.
On site. Are you kidding me?
I mean, they shot a guy who was running on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
Like that was, that's just an on-site thing. Like everything goes out the window.
Dude, I said this this weekend. So we were in Chicago at a music festival, Windy City Smokeout, and it's at the United Center parking lot. The DNC is being held at the United Center. So the building's been locked down for months now. Can't get in there. There's a tornado coming on Saturday, like right before all this happened. It was the weirdest timing. And they had to evacuate the festival because they didn't want everybody standing out in a parking lot. No protection. And they did this last year. It was really bad thunderstorms. And they got everybody into the United Center to wait out the storm. And they let everyone back out. So the DNC is coming to the United Center. So the United Center is completely locked down. So that's not an option. So they just have everyone like scatter pretty much. Like go find coverage. And we stayed in. We had a media trailer, and we were actually White Sox Dave and I were with Donnie and Corey Rutledge out by the barbecue area. We were talking to some of the pit masters that we've known, and Donnie was live streaming when all this started coming out, and we were just looking around there and taking it in. I mean, you could see snipers set up on the roof of the United Center. Not a lot, but they're up there. CPD are everywhere. Undercovers everywhere walking around this place. We were media, so we had media credentials, but just to get anywhere near the festival with a backpack on, we were stopped 15 times by people.
Yeah.
Kind of look in your backpack, and you like, unless you're an asshole, you always say yes because you want to feel that makes you feel more protected. Like, okay, at least they're like checking people. People aren't just walking in here. So it's good to see people doing their jobs with that. So you always comply. But I mean, dude, this was at a music festival. This wasn't at a presidential rally where, former president is gathering in an open field to speak. Like,
I mean, do you think that Trump had that move planned afterwards? Because you got to be thinking like, hey, I'm out here talking. I could totally get shot one time. And like, be like, if I get shot, what am I going to do?
I don't know, man. I do love though that, I mean, it's great to see the people who I tweeted this the other day, the people who've been calling me fucking crazy conspiracy theorists for the last like 5 years are now the ones saying that this was all staged. This was set up. It's made his problems go away. He's a hero. and I'm like, how, like, oh,
Yeah.
like
That's
how the tables have turned.
by the way, I want to like let people know you are a very capable, accomplished person. Like
Yeah.
you have
Thank you.
several small businesses,
Thank you.
several like Dante's just not online all the time. Like Dante's actually like runs shit and
Thank
like
you.
books gigs for performers. And like, how many venues do you own?
We just opened our 11th.
That's
In Chicago.
where are they?
Everywhere from Florida to we're opening in San Diego in 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
So coast to coast.
How did you get into the restaurant industry?
I was a DJ forever, and I realized I can't be a DJ forever. I better learn an exit plan. And I love hospitality. I love being around people and showing people a good time. I love food. I love music. So it was just a natural fit. So I soaked up as much knowledge as I could, learning from all the best people that I worked for. And I met my two business partners who are super accomplished in their own right. One's an attorney, the other's a CPA. The oldest one has, he's got 20 something places now, but he's been in the business, 30 years. And we opened our first spot 11 years ago, and we just opened our 11th place in Chicago.
Wow. So like ipso facto, like one a year. You've been up to it?
This year's 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're growing pretty fast, but I like to think like I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but I'm also very quick to admit when I don't know something and find people that do know what they're talking about. Like I like to surround myself with the smartest people rather than be the smartest person, which I know a lot of people are that way.
I mean, one thing that I don't know anything about is, but can they get a DNA match on a guy that fast? Because he doesn't have ID.
Speaking about what I don't know, I honestly don't know.
Like, how is it possible that they got DNA so quick? Because, I mean,
another great question. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, because think about it, like, Ancestry.com. So the fastest DNA sequencing technique, what does the FBI have that they can get DNA so fast? And, how do they have his DNA on file? Because, like, think about it. There's serial killers, right?
Yeah.
There's serial killers that takes, a long time to get their DNA. So are they just plugging it into Ancestry.com?
No, you're right. And
because the FBI uses
also, how quick was all this guy's name, face, data out there compared to other mass shootings?
Quick.
They usually wait to identify the person. And
also, do you see the videos of him getting bullied in high school that they're posting around?
No, you mentioned earlier when Liam was in here filming a preview for this that a lot of the stuff you're seeing is like disinformation and stuff like that. Like what examples?
I'd say Matthew Yerrick one that Roger Stone put him.
Shocker.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, he's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
you not think so?
Roger Stone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely nuts.
He's nuts.
The guy posted a back page ad of himself and thought like it was just like no problem and no one would see it. Like, I don't know. It's just this Yerrick photo looks pretty weird. Like that's the only weird thing. And honestly, I just saw some evidence that points that like if Crooks has those 2 points on the ear, those elf ear things, then I'm completely convinced. But Crooks was in the BlackRock ad, and there's a video of him getting quote unquote bullied in high school where some guy's just yanking his leg. But in those videos, he just kind of seems like the class weirdo that like would not be capable of like bringing a gun, like climbing up a ladder. Like he kind of seems pretty, like a probably very smart guy in like coding and computer whiz, but not the type of guy that can, execute an assassination attempt and, have the physicality of like going up, like taking a gun up a large ladder, like without getting caught and evading capture and, like trying to kill the president.
Dude, and again, if was it local police, was it CIA, who or Secret Service, who was in that staging building? Who was there? Do you know?
I mean, apparently the local police were supposed to have had it. That's what the Secret Service had said, and said that because the corrugated roof was slanted, they didn't want to put anyone up there because it might be dangerous for them to stand up there. But I'm like, these Secret Service snipers are ex-military. They're the only ones that have to be ex-military, I'm pretty sure, and have sniper training to such a degree. And a slanted corrugated roof is not.
No, but it's also, again, it's so fucking loud. Like climbing that ladder, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
When you get up on top, even if you're crawling, it's like, it's so loud. People
the aluminum
inside it are going to say, who the hell is up there?
I mean, you can hear like, a chicken on top of a corrugated roof, because that's my reference for a corrugated roof in a.
And I mean, you've seen all the first person videos of people filming this kid. Like, hey, there's a guy up there. The guy. Did you watch the BBC interview?
What are they
with the guy with the red?
Yeah.
Who was like, yeah, we went and got people half an hour before it happened. That's my other thing is I saw a couple like ex-snipers. I've watched a bunch of their accounts of the thing, and they said, like one of the worst things you want to do is someone who has to pull the trigger is shoot somebody that you're not positive is a threat.
Yeah.
And they were like, until they saw a gun pointed or go off, they're thinking, is that a camera? Is that, some person with, mental disabilities, like playing, like, but again, I feel like all that goes out the window when it's a presidential rally. It's one of those things like you shoot first and ask questions later. But that said, why wouldn't, like, I know there's drone surveillance. There had to have been aerial like sightings of this kid. They had to have flown over.
So one take that was very interesting to me is that they're saying that a lot of the Secret Service snipers, they would have been aimed farther away because they're more thinking of like a sophisticated, like hypothetically Russian Spetsnaz assassin that's been dropped and can make the shot from 500 yards away, 1,000 yards away, a mile away, taking the shot and hitting Trump. That's what they're really concerned about. So I sort of get like that element.
So you mean like a real sharpshooter, like Lee Harvey?
I mean, think about it. Like JFK was 260 feet away.
It's such a
moving
joke,
target. There is some rumors there was 2 shooters and there was one on the water tower, which, I don't believe, but I think people are hearing echoes from the shots. But I mean, think about that. Like if the security was so bad that this like kid, basically 20 years old, climbed up, it's just like the perfect storm. And it's like these things keep happening. Like,
which is why it doesn't add up.
Yeah. I mean, what the heck? Like it was a 450, I think less than that yard shot. I think it was like a 400 foot shot. And that's a layup for like any hunter. And like any marksman could make that. Like at a shooting range, that's a common distance, like 150 yards. Like I think people can hit that with like a compound bow.
But so like back to my questions though. So say there's alerts like, hey, there's a guy up there. We don't know even if you don't know what he's doing, why he's up there. If you don't send a drone to go check it out, if you don't send an officer up there, which there's reports an officer climbed up and, he got a gun pointed in his face. So he fell down the ladder. If all these things happen in advance, why did they still send Trump out on that stage? Why didn't they say, okay, hey, there's a possible threat. We're pushing this back an hour. We're pushing this back half an hour. We got to figure out what's going on there. Like the fact that this was all seen ahead of time, people were alerted, and they still send him out there. It's just another like, what the fuck?
What else is like completely crazy is that if the guy got a gun stuck in his face, how is that not setting off everyone's alarm? Like, there's a guy with a gun on the roof. So then when that Secret Service, who probably still has an eye on him, the sniper, takes the shot, it's just, you can't blame the guys on the ground because they're definitely making a stink. There probably was just bad relay of information up to people who are supposed to tell people to pull the trigger. That decentralization.
Dude, also, did you hear the Secret Service snipers that I don't know how this information got like leaked, but they saw him pull out a rangefinder? The kid, Crooks?
Where'd you see that?
It's all over.
He pulled out a rangefinder?
Yeah.
Oh my
Check
God. That, I mean, thank God.
So
he didn't
that's like
hit.
the kind of the, okay, you don't know what that person's up there doing. Like they pull out a rangefinder, aren't you kind of like?
Yeah, Secret Service had snipers inside the building the assassin used. They took pictures of him. They watched him pull out a rangefinder to get his exact distance to Trump. They radioed the Secret Service command post about the assassin. They all knew he was there. So who gave the order to do nothing?
Like, what the fuck, man?
They have pictures of him? I mean, jeez. The thing is, I don't think the Democratic Party would want Trump to die, because then his succession, like then his ideas become martyrized, and he like becomes something that is not of this world, that they can't throw in jail, that they can't discredit. He's now dead, and he's now like died for his beliefs, which is like some of the most dangerous stuff in history. Geez. So they are also saying that the roof was super duper hot because it's a corrugated metal roof. And that's why
In the blazing sun.
why people didn't want to stand there, but yet the sniper's up there burning his ass off. But I mean, there is the element that the local police were the ones who made serious. But by the way, compound bow only goes around 30 to 60 yards. So he couldn't have made the shot with a compound bow. But did you see the call Trump made to RFK Jr. after the assassination attempt?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up that they recorded that.
Yeah.
And posted that.
I mean, I guess RFK, I don't think it was his choice. I think he has a lot of social media people around him.
Yeah.
And they just recorded that and
Yeah, it
posted
got
it.
leaked. But still.
Yeah.
The
Low-key hilarious. Like,
I mean, as a big RFK guy like myself, like that's who I've been on record I'm voting for. I would love to see him actually in a position that matters. You know, they're saying Trump's trying to recruit him and bring him into his cabinet. I think it would be great for him and for the country, honestly. Hopefully, you know, him and people like Vance that have brains can convince him to act way more presidential this run than the last one. But I don't know. I don't know if this is just going to make the monster even bigger and things worse, which is what a lot of, like I was saying, the extreme left people that I know that, you know, are saying this was all staged. Also, by the way, if this was set up and staged, who the fuck took the shot that took off his ear? Oh, I gotta
well, Will Compton's take is the only reasonable one.
Somebody sent me a clip of some guy saying that it was like a WWF Hogan thing. Like he had a razor blade in his hand and he went down and sliced his ear with it to draw the blood.
I mean,
what did Will say?
That's what he said. That
Really?
was his take. And I was like, okay, like, so Trump would have had to hypothetically planned that if I ever get shot at, I'm going to cut my ear if I survive and, make it look like I got hit and then, do this whole big thing because the Secret Service is going to jump on me. I mean, he couldn't have planned. He may have been able to cut himself when he heard shots and be like, okay, I'm going to make it look like I got hit. But I do not, but like, he would be banking on him not getting shot. There's a lot to that. There is way too much to that. Like, you could not plan that. And also, someone died. Like,
Yeah.
like we, in thoughts and prayers go out to their family. A lot of money's been raised for them. I retweeted Jack Mack's, the GoFundMe that Jack Mack also posted. But it's just.
Did you see the people behind him? Mainly that one lady.
Yeah.
Who like whipped out her phone and started like recording.
Have we seen that footage yet?
No.
But
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's out or what, but.
So you were, what is your take if it was an inside job?
I mean, so I wish I had second thoughts. So after the debate and seeing everybody like come out of a coma for the last, 4 years and realize like, wow, this guy is fucking like The Walking Dead. It was just like infuriating and, you start to lose your minds. I sat down, I wrote something that would never get published on our site, but I recorded it. I just like, did a TikTok. I mean, I decided not to post. I was like, this is going to like fucking fire people up way too much. I'm going to sleep on it. Next day I didn't post it. But in what I wrote and what I recorded, I said, I was like, the only way I think the real powers that be that run everything can wrangle control of this thing back now. I think now that like the media can't lie to us anymore, is I think, they want to kill both candidates. I said it like half jokingly, half seriously. I'm like, I think the left wishes nothing more than for Biden to pass away.
Well, I
think that solves a lot of their problems. And I think they want a lot more than just the radical left. But I think people, what's really fucked up and sad is if this had gone according to plan on Saturday, I think there's a lot of people in this country that would be celebrating, which is really fucked up.
I know. I was just thinking like, what would happen if he actually gotten shot? I don't think there'd be as many riots. I think it would be more, might see another, January 6th scenario, but not like rioting in the street in major cities. I do think there might be parties in the street of major cities causing a retaliation of, individuals. But I think, this, they might get rid of Biden by getting him shot. Being like, and is there retaliation for the Trump attempt?
I mean, they got to do something, man.
I mean, because that's the only way to get him out.
What's really like maddening and like mind-boggling about this whole thing is that it's still lost on the left and the non-moderate Democrats. I feel like the moderates get it, but they just get completely overlooked and forgotten about because it's the extremes in both parties that everyone pays attention to and listens to, and they have the clout. But if these people just realized like the reason you're dealing with Trump to begin with, the reason he got elected 8 years ago was because of like this shit. People are so fucking fed up with being lied to, manipulated, gaslit, watching corruption unfold right in front of our eyes, and people in the government in Washington, D.C. just get away with murder. Like Trump was elected as a fuck you to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Like a happy country, a content people don't elect Donald Trump.
Right.
And I feel like this is just dousing the fire with gasoline, because now people see even more, and seeing none of this add up and seeing so many people start to scratch their head and be like, all right, I'm not, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but even a dummy could figure out that this doesn't make sense. And 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 here.
Well, did you see from the RFK call? Biden was like, how did you know to move your head? Which is almost like if you didn't move your head, like that's fucking.
I know, it's weird.
Like, how did you know to? Like, no, he didn't know. He just, it was literally like
we said he was looking at a chart they put up.
They were
showing illegal immigration data, and he turned to look at it because he was referencing it.
I mean, the angle of it is insane that if he didn't move, he would have gotten the back of his head blown off.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It is one of those wild things where it's like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, you got to watch this video.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen it. I'm gonna text it to you right now. But you can see there is a crowd of people going out by this building, pointing at this kid as he's climbing up on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and again, these are average, regular citizens. These aren't military or police whose sole job it is to be looking for shit like this.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there. See him?
Watch this. Watch
Oh
when
my
it zooms
God.
in.
Yeah, he's laying down. What's happening?
oh my God, this is ridiculous.
So again, back to my thing. Like, I really want to hear that sniper say he had him in his sights, and 3 minutes before the first shot goes off, being
But
told not to shoot.
What's weird is he doesn't look like he has a gun.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. So he must have just like put the bag up there.
Jeez. I mean, with all these shooters and stuff, I almost feel like someone's radicalizing them to cause this type of stuff. Like, they definitely do happen, but I think like they're definitely someone's in some backlog telling them, okay, do this, like preying on individuals who are weak-minded, who are alone, and like.
Dude, I mean, how much do you want to talk about MK Ultra?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like Donnie stopped that guy on the plane who thought that a YouTuber was going to be his goddess, and like taking advantage of clearly sort of schizophrenic edged people by deluding them and getting them to carry things out. I mean, that guy was trying to exit the plane to show how, and we don't know if like that guy had someone in his DMs telling him at that exact moment to open the plane door or try to open the plane door, because these people are very easy to take advantage of it. And like, if he was like deluded by this obviously catfish, and he was like, I'm on the plane right now, like, look, here's a picture of me on the plane, and the person panicked and was like, I need to get this guy arrested because he's coming to get me because he found where I am. So he like told him to open the door. Like how much easier would it be to be like, yo,
I didn't know where you were going with that, but that was, now I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because
If you told a crazy person to do something like that, they probably would.
yeah, because think about it. Because this guy was in a fake relationship, a catfish relationship, and he was talking about how she's my goddess and all this stuff,
Yeah.
and clearly deluded to probably send money.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I'm coming to see you, like I'm going on this plane," and the person's like, "Oh shit, like I've been able to get this guy to do everything, but I really don't want him to come find me." So like, if you took that to the next level with someone who was like, "Yo, like go to this house, go to this roof, it's gonna not be protected well." Climb to the top, bring an AR-15, like, take marksman classes, tell your parents that you want to, do gun stuff and they'll buy you a gun and lead them on this way. Like that is a clear possibility with those types of individuals who are deluded and like think that they're, got a God complex or they're part of some like grand scheme.
Or do you think that this kid was just a patsy? Like,
Exactly.
Perfect patsy. Do you think, I'm not saying, they thought but do you think it was somebody else taking those shots that was actually accomplished and that this was the guy that they were just going to take out and tie all the loose ends up?
I mean, the water tower theory, I don't think ballistics agrees with, because like if you look at who was hit, it does kind of show that it was one. I just heard a loud bang behind us, and my heart just dropped. It's like, oh fuck, are we getting shot at right now? Did you hear that,
dude? Yeah, so this fucking same festival I was at this weekend, Chicago, absolute disaster that the city is in right now. There's a 30,000 person music festival going on, and they try to fucking hijack some guy's car like a block away from it.
Who did?
Some fucking thugs.
Oh, okay. Not to drive through the festival. Like
no. But it was a failed carjacking, and there were police everywhere around this thing, which is just moronic to even attempt to do this. But these kids go running, and police are chasing after them, and one of them had a gun or something. Somebody sees it and starts running and starts yelling, "Active shooter."
Oh my God.
This is outside the festival, like a block away, thank
terrifying.
God. But a lot of people I was working with were in the media tent. They hear active shooter. This is before the Trump shit. This is Thursday or Friday.
Oh my God.
So they run. A lot of them were females. They jumped in bushes. They're like, freak the fuck out. Police come over. They're like, everything's fine. We arrested them. We caught them. They caught all four of them.
Yeah.
Thank God. But the whole rest of the weekend, everyone was just like, holy shit. And then this happened on Saturday, and then they almost had to evacuate the festival. So like these poor women were like so stressed out.
Well, that's one of those things you can't say, if you see like an obvious, like not like Grand Theft Auto type crime where it's like, okay, these are guys running from the cops, like not like, that's honestly not as scary.
But dude, that's like for you and me who live in the city.
Yeah.
That's like fucking everyday shit, especially in Chicago. If you're from the suburbs or you're from fucking Iowa and you're in Chicago and you see some fucking guy run down the street with a gun towards a music festival, you might think different, like, so I could see it. And
I'm just thinking like, stray bullet, like, but I mean the Vegas shooting, like the thing is, what's unfortunate about this shoot, like if Lee Harvey Oswald had been just shot by a Secret Service sniper right after, there would be way less conversation about the JFK assassination.
No, but what did they do?
They shoot
him fucking coming out of a courtroom with another patsy. And it's just like, dude.
But like, this is the way where they can just erase the story.
But the other big thing, which, I'm glad that you just brought up JFK because it made me think about something I really want to talk about today is how about the fact that for a year now, RFK Jr. has been begging for fucking security, begging. He's had to foot the bill for his own, which that adds up, man. That's not just hourly guys you're paying. That's flights you got to cover, hotels you got to cover everywhere you're going. Like that eats away at your fucking campaign fund really quick. So I don't think it was financial reasons he was asking for it, but the fact that his fucking dad and uncle both got their heads blown off.
And also a guy tried to shoot him.
So the fact that he just had these claims completely ignored for a year, and then it takes this to happen for Biden to finally be like, oh yeah, okay. I guess you have a point. I guess we should get you some fucking Secret Service.
Yeah. So
like no one cares about that. No one thinks like, gee, that's really fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, basically a man with a loaded gun was arrested outside a campaign event for RFK Jr. This was back in September of 2023. And he had 2 loaded pistols and he was impersonating a U.S. Marshal. Like he was there to try to kill RFK. And it was like one of those things that like he still didn't have Secret Service at the time. I mean, wild. I mean, I don't even know how much more questions we can raise because it's just so out there. Like one of those crazy, it's definitely a moment in history and Trump's reaction to it. You know, I do want to get into, have you seen any of the stuff about Trump and Epstein? Because everyone's like, well, what about Trump and Epstein? Like recently?
Yeah. So obviously, you know, I've been very, very, very vocal about the whole Epstein thing and just not one way or the other, just everybody. I feel like everyone in Hollywood and Washington and, you know, this city, everyone that was affiliated with him is, you know, complicit. And, of course, there's people that, you know, the radicals on each side only want to point out the other guys in the pictures and whatnot. So I guess when the phone records dropped a couple weeks ago, Trump was all over him.
Calling in.
Yeah. And I guess someone sent me something that said he had 14 different contacts of Trump saved in devices. You know how like if you go on your iPhone, if you save somebody with like a doctor instead of just their first name, it'll like save it twice.
Yeah.
Or if you put like their middle initial, it'll save it like a third time.
Yeah.
He had like 14 different things for Trump, which, all right, take it however you want it. I mean, the guy was connected to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
You know, Trump included. And I mean, I don't know like what that smoking gun is. Like, what do we know now that we didn't already know? Like, Trump's a scumbag, dude.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Trump, the phone records, I don't think are that indicative of anything because Trump his office may have called Epstein because Epstein was in contact with like a bunch of different bankers. And part of being a real estate developer is you're constantly looking for money to refinance, because it's kind of weird, but like real estate development with this inflationary capital system, which remember how you're saying, what was it you who wrote the blog about why don't we build nice buildings anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the inflationary capital system that we have, because everything needs to be refinanced so it can be re-updated. Whereas if you build...
Dude, people got so mad at me for that.
What? How come?
I don't know if they're like architects or own development companies or what, but I got so many fucking messages that were like, you're a fucking moron. Like, do you have any idea how much it costs to build shit? Yeah, I actually do. It's like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like bars are $700 a square foot, which is obscene.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Never mind nice glass residential buildings.
That's like 125 to 150 is like the going rate.
Well, that was
for
like pre-COVID
residential
in the sticks, not anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a kind of an idea how much shit costs to build. That doesn't matter. I'm saying why were things so much nicer back in the day? And I know the answer. We had craftsmen back then. We had people coming from all over the world that were skilled artists.
Also, you didn't have OSHA.
Yes.
You didn't
Also
could
that.
throw like you had guys coming off the boat that you didn't need to strap in. Like, remember like the Empire State Building?
I know those fucking
Those
pictures still
dudes-
freak me out.
Yeah, like you could do whatever you fucking wanted. Like we actually have to like pay people nowadays. So like, the structural framing is all steel, but it is, even though it does look almost flimsier, it is still, built very well. We're actually better. Like the reason why we had to, pour concrete and, build huge stone and brick, marble buildings was because that was the best building material of that time. We now have reinforced steel. Like our products are so much better. But with that, it is cheaper. Like to build a full brick building, like, to build a marble building like the Parthenon nowadays is so expensive,
Right.
from a material building standpoint. But we can build something cheaper with these glass buildings because it's, just the materials are better and it's easier to assemble. So there's that element. But because of that, when you're refinancing these buildings, when you're doing that, you need to keep getting loans. So you have to keep reaching out to as many people as you can to get more money given to you, because you have to pay your debt servicing, your principal, your interest on the old loans. You need to refinance because you still have the principal of this building that you
Right.
need to re-borrow on, because, you borrowed $10 million to refinance and upgrade this one building. And you paid the interest on it and only paid really like $3 million in interest over the past 5 years, but now you can get it refinanced and get a new $10 million even larger loan because the building's gained in value, and that makes the $10 million because of inflation and because of how the building value's gone up, you now wipe that debt away, but now you put on more debt. So like it is a passing the buck scenario where Donald Trump has to reach out to basically everyone he knows in finance in this small New York City circle and be like, if Epstein knows them, like, yo, Jeff, do you know this guy? Can he do me a favor and refinance this building? So there is that element of networking in the city. I mean, you got to know everybody, but I'm not saying that's why he might, I think Trump knew what he was doing, but I don't think any of the court documents from, random people, like some of the stuff they're saying, like Trump's implicated in raping these individuals and like threatening to kill them. Like there's a bunch of those that have been submitted by people trying to get claims from the whole Epstein thing. So I think his estate is now paying out claims. I may be wrong on that, but like they're crazy, almost fan fiction stories about Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, like Eiffel Towering, like, which is terrible to say, but like, I don't think that sounds a little bit like the Russian, the like whatever that document was where he was getting peed on in Russia.
The dossier.
Yeah. The dossier. Like, I don't know. There's a lot, but we'll see how this shapes out. I mean, I don't think we're going to ever get good answers on this guy, like what fueled him, because someone obviously wiped his entire internet purse. And the thing is like a 20-year-old, you can't exist. I'm 25. Everyone had social media. Everyone had an internet footprint in my age group. And I'm 25. It's gotten even worse for 20-year-olds. So this guy's 20 and you're telling me he has zero internet? Like if this guy was a loner, that means he was like, what was he doing with his time? Like going on the internet alone. He wasn't reading books. This guy was obviously radicalized to the point. So he must have like some sort of internet forum.
So I'm very out of touch with, I'm like finally starting to feel old now that, I think TikTok was the first thing that really made me like, like, I don't fucking get this. First thing. Everything else up to that I've been keeping up with, but since TikTok, I'm just feeling like I'm getting left in the dust. Discord, I don't understand. The whole gaming world, I'm like so lost on.
Yeah.
So like these people have been sending me these videos and these streams. I guess he had a Discord channel and he was big on this game. And I checked this out because I was like, there's no way this is
What was the game
real.
called?
dude, there's a fucking game out there where you play a Secret Service agent who has to jump in front of bullets that they're firing at a president. And the president's name is Ronald Rump.
What?
I am not kidding you. And this Crooks kid allegedly logged 100 hours playing this game. I don't know what that means, but yeah,
Well,
they wiped his channel. But I guess on Discord it shows what games you play, how long you play them, and all
Mr.
that.
President on Steam, Ronald Rump.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, okay, 4,000 reviews.
but this has been wiped down now. So again, it's like, why are they clearing the internet of all this stuff?
I mean, there is that game where you're with all your buddies and then you put your finger to your ear like you're getting a call, and then whoever the last dude to put your finger to your ear gets tackled because he's the president, because he's the only one without. So that's like a game that you called Mr. President. And this is so this is ridiculous. Okay, this game does not look like it could be a simulation. Like, okay, this is one of those things where this guy's been.
To me, it's one of those things where I'm just like, why is this allowed out there? Like, I'm not trying to stifle freedom and creativity and all that, but to me, that's just one of those things where it's like, what good does this do the public? To me, that only does people bad.
I don't know how this definitely didn't help him at all.
No, but it's like, why is that allowed?
Yeah. And
why is someone allowed to profit off that, selling that?
I mean, freedom of speech, I see it is pretty comical, and it seems to be making fun of Donald Trump, fund the bankrupt billionaire. Like, some of these are like campaign, but it looks like, yeah, I mean, well, I don't think we're gonna get to the bottom of it. I don't think, geez, I mean, we're witnessing history real time.
It definitely makes you think, like, what if like the JFK situation played out today? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that case would have been cracked by
Yeah.
10 a.m. the next day. There would have been security cameras all throughout the plaza, every business.
Yeah.
Everyone had their phone. Like, everyone would have had a 4K
Video of it.
instead of the Zapruder. Like,
that's how you could get away with it. I mean,
but I mean, like, that would have been like completely solved. And now, like, you're starting to see like all these pieces come together and fall into place, and you're still like left there returning to the very first question you should have been asking when this broke: is how was there a lapse this big in security? Honestly, I reference this all the time because it's like it's my favorite, one of my favorite movies ever. Two, it's such a well-written and great point that applies to so much in life. And it's from Casino. And it's when Robert De Niro's character, Ace, catches one of the politician's sons who he gave a job to being set up for a scam. They were scamming the slot machines. They were using like fake quarters or something like that. And he comes down, he reams them out, and he's like, we got hit for thousands and thousands of dollars. And the guy's a cowboy from Nevada, not the smartest guy. De Niro's screaming at him, and he's like, how was I supposed to know? Like, I didn't know. And De Niro calls him a liar, and he says, you're either fucking in on it or you're too stupid to have noticed. And either way, like, you're a fucking piece of shit. That's how I feel with this whole thing. Like, either these people are so grossly incompetent and negligent that they all need to fucking go, including, the woman that's at the head of this thing who already said she's not stepping down, which is wild.
Yeah.
but they need to clean house and start over because it doesn't get worse
Well,
than this.
she recently got appointed, and her
Or
background.
they were fucking in on it.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. Like, which
Yeah.
is it?
Well, it might be negligence because she did work at Pepsi, and her only thing that was her only previous experience, and her only thing she brought to the table of like, you know, how she can affect the Secret Service was hiring more female service agents. And nothing against them. When you're trying to be the bodyguard for Donald Trump, you need to be able to cover Donald Trump's body with your body.
I love
And he's a
Musk's
big guy.
thing. Did
Yeah.
you see Elon's thing?
What do you say?
He was like, yeah, like, good point. If you want females, like, there are very like competent women service agents out there, but they should look like Brianna Tarth,
Yeah.
not like not like little short girls.
Yes, because like you actually have to cover like bodyguard.
Yes.
You actually have to cover the body.
Yes.
Like, so you take a bullet for Donald Trump, which I mean, you know, not too many people want to do, but like that's the job. But
And what a wild job, huh?
yeah,
Like, are you
but you're also wearing way more protective equipment.
still, dude?
Yeah.
Still.
Well, my favorite thing about the secret, a lot of these bodyguards is do you see the fake hands?
Oh, how they have their
Yeah.
hands on the gun at all time, but there's like a
There's like a fake hand,
Yeah.
and they have like machine guns underneath their
Yeah.
shirts. That's crazy. That's like the funniest thing that I see, because it's like an obviously fake hand, but like it's like, oh shit, they have machine guns right underneath.
What
But-
do you my brain's going all over the place
Mhm.
since Saturday. What do you think this is going to do going forward? Not politically, but what do you think the landscape's going to look like now going forward for like public events? And like, do you think we ever see a president speak outside in a wide open area like ever again? I don't.
You don't think though?
Not for a long.
You
long
think they're not
time.
going to do like a Pope mobile type thing and just put them in a box every time?
I mean, do you do that? Do you do inside only? And are there like sweeps like they usually do, and everything's secured and locked down? I mean, I don't know.
It's a question.
The other thing is like, did you expect more of a reaction either way, one way or the other, than we got? Or does it seem to you like kind of eerie how desensitized everyone is to all this, and how everyone was just like, yeah, of course Trump got shot at. Like,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
fucking 2024. Like, what else? Like,
I
the
mean,
least surprising thing ever.
Yeah.
That surprised me is how
also everyone's
unsurprised
forgotten.
people were by it.
Everyone's already like forgotten about it.
That's like everything now.
Yeah.
Everything's like 24-hour news cycle.
I mean, like Sketch is probably loving this. Sketch is probably loving that something like a news story way bigger than his thing. Cause I mean, that's also one of those things. Like, I don't really know much about that situation. And if, you know, support Sketch, like I actually met him when he came to the Barstool office in Chicago when he was streaming with Jerry, you know, great guy, down to earth. You know, whatever he does behind closed doors or used to do, like I'm nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But if it was like cause he recently signed with FaZe Clan, right?
I don't know. Is that one of those like gaming teams?
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
It almost sounds like, you know, he was trying to sign a new deal with someone else and someone had dirt on him.
Really?
Like that's like, you know, it's like one of those P. Diddy things. Like
The esports world is that big, huh?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking you.
Because I don't know how Sketch became famous very fast, I feel. So like, and Sketch is a victim in this theory. Like, was he being extorted? Like, we'll make you famous, but we need blackmail on you. Like, we'll promote you, but you need to do these certain things. And then like, if you try to leave our stuff, we're going to leak this. Cause his explanation of like, you know, he had a good explanation. He confronted it and played it off well, but like, is there something else happening here that
I like the way your brain works, Billy.
Because think about that.
I don't think about stuff like that, but I like how you, like, I wasn't following it first. And then what you said, like, I don't even know the situation that well, but that storyline and scenario makes a lot of sense. I said this to Danny the other day. He filmed that fucking hilarious video he posted where he bleeped out everything I said. But I said, I was like, I'm going to hit Billy up and fly to New York on Monday to record. And I was like, Billy, one of the few people at this company who has a brain and thinks for himself. Because, dude, honestly, it feels, the one good thing about this, I will say, is it is so refreshing to see people start to critically think and ask questions. Like Kevin Clancy included. Like, you saw his tweet today, which you responded to, and we're like, come on the show. We asked him to come on the show. He declined because he thinks we're both lunatics.
But I don't understand why people don't think like I think.
Dude, it's weird.
Why does everyone take things at face value?
Because you need to trust the media. The media would never steer us wrong. Our government would never steer us wrong. Everyone has our best interests in mind. I feel like people are finally starting to realize, like, no, they don't. They have their own fucking interest in mind always. And finally people starting to, like, scratch their heads and ask questions like, all right, the story that we're being fed really doesn't fucking make sense.
Is it just because, are we pessimistic because of something pessimistic on human idea, like the not humanity as a whole, but just like, because you have dealt in the restaurant industry, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of ulterior motives when it comes to things like building permits. Like, whether their buddy owns, like, if the building inspector's buddy or the building inspector gets to drink free at the bar down the road and he's just preventing other guys from build. Like, is it just that we're pessimistic on individuals' motivations that we think that this way, that there might be more behind stuff?
No, it honestly has nothing to do with that stuff. I mean, dude, I've been seeing corruption at the smallest of levels to the largest of levels with my own eyes. Like, one of the first things I realized, so moving from Boston to Chicago, you think, but nowhere's worse than Boston. Nowhere. Everybody, it's all fucking patronage and nepotism, and everyone's taking care of fucking everyone, and it's envelopes. And then you go to Chicago and you're like, whoa, Boston's like the minor leagues compared to Chicago. I had kids in one of my freshman year core classes who had entire, like, sides of their family, like dad, uncles, cousins, brothers, employed by the city for the most bullshit jobs because they grew up in the same neighborhood as our old Mayor Daley. And it was like, and these weren't like $40,000 a year jobs. These were like $110,000, $120,000 a year jobs, which even today are pretty good fucking salary jobs. But, like, finding out, wait, they do snow removal year round. They're paid year round to do snow removal. It snows here. Like, we had one snowstorm this past year. It snows in Chicago 3-4 months out of the year. These guys are making six figures, like, plus fucking overtime, like on storms and shit. So seeing shit like that, where you're just like, so much waste, tax money, shit like that. Like, that's when you start, like, asking questions and being like, system's really fucked up. And then, just seeing all our aldermen, how one of them's going to prison, just got federally indicted for, like, shaking down businesses, and the FBI set up a sting, caught him red-handed. No one cares. He got charged before his last election, and he still won. He still got elected.
You know what? Speaking of conspiracy, and this was a engagement recently that you might have seen. Did you see that George Soros' son, Alex Soros, got engaged to Huma Abedin?
No.
She's
the attorney?
Anthony Weiner's ex-wife, who's Hillary Clinton's top aide. That
the Indian woman.
Yeah, that's the conspiracy theory.
I've
Taylor
not seen
Swift
that.
and Travis Kelce. That's like the craziest crossover of conspiracies ever.
When did that happen? Recently?
I think it was before the Trump thing, but like literally the Anthony Weiner laptop, which, you know, every cop who looked at it apparently committed suicide after seeing it. You know, the whole crazy, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, but like, and then George Soros's son, Alex Soros, and Soros has been funding all these DAs that have like caused crime to increase in like metropolitan areas to like crash. Like those two combining now and getting married.
Yeah, talk about interesting guy. Have you seen how many times he's been at the White House?
Alex Soros, or the son, or the
son.
Oh yeah, he's funding the whole thing.
He's there all the time.
Yeah. I mean, crazy.
Like hundreds of visits, hundreds.
I mean,
yeah,
boy.
they're dangerous people, man.
Mm.
What do you think? You think it's weird that Anthony Weiner's just kind of like disappeared and gone quiet? No one's ever like, that guy knows where some fucking bodies are buried, man.
Yeah, I mean, his file that said life insurance.
Dude, the Podesta emails, all that shit. Like, he knows all of that stuff. Those fucking cops that reviewed his computer that said they were like traumatized and, you know, horrified, worst thing they'd ever seen in like 14 years. And
then they all committed suicide, either because they wanted to be silenced or literally it was so bad they couldn't go on living. Yeah,
dude. What do you think was on there? Like, how is Weiner still alive?
Because he has those contents on he's got a kill switch.
You think?
Yeah, that's how he's still alive. He absolutely has a kill switch. Because all those files he probably has on like multiple different laptops and computers around the world, and he has to check in every day to make sure that like he's still alive. He has to click it every morning to make sure.
There's stuff like that?
Or I guarantee that it's probably actually a chip in his brain that relays that, like, he's like, oh, am I still alive? Yep, I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, like, these files don't get released. And then he probably has to figure out a way, like, to turn it off when he gets actually in old age. I don't know. Like, there has to be technology like that. Like, there's Neuralink. I mean, it could be like he just wears a Whoop and it's programmed that as long as the Whoop shows that his heart's beating, but then he can't ever take a Whoop off. But something similar. Like, as long as his heart is ticking, nothing gets released. But the second it does it.
Dude, I don't know if I want to live if I'm living like that.
Well, I mean,
if you're looking over your shoulder, you're like fucking Caesar, dude. You can't go out to eat anywhere without someone like testing your food for you. Every drink you order, you gotta like have someone else try it to make sure it's not poisoned.
Actually, like, I'm gonna just
you're looking over your shoulder every second of every day. Like, what? Why like go through life like that? I would just blow the roof off everything and be like, all right, have fun. I'll be in
yeah, so now he's a talk radio host.
The Caribbean.
He's a talk.
Find me down there.
Yeah, so Anthony Weiner is just a talk radio host. So I'm on his Twitter right now. Host of The Middle with Anthony Weiner, hockey dad, beer league goalie, New Yorker, grateful for everything, even the bad stuff.
Dude, I think we found our next guest.
I think we need let me invite him on, because he got mad. The left versus the right with Anthony Weiner and Curtis Sliwa. That's someone that I really want to have on.
Who?
Curtis Sliwa. Do you know who that is? He was the founder of the Guardian Angels. If he's doing that with Curtis Sliwa, we gotta figure that out, because I don't know.
Dude, you get Anthony Weiner in this studio, I'll come back, because
because he was on a podcast and he got confronted about it, and they like roasted him about all all that happened. And he was just like, no, it's all BS. Oh, it's all BS. I need to find, I mean, yeah, I think it was, is it Patrick Bet David?
Yeah, what about him? I know that name.
I think, yeah. Yeah, Patrick Bet David had Anthony Weiner on his podcast and absolutely went after him for all the stuff with the police department, with I don't know. That's just a weird situation. But Anthony Weiner, if you hear this, please come on the pod. I'd love to talk to you. Just rationalize it for me. But I think we're gonna wrap. We might have to be out of here at 1 p.m. Thank you for everyone who listened. Please subscribe. This is going to be an extra episode this week. We don't know. This might be audio only. We'll let you know, but we'll cut clips and everything. So subscribe, please follow the pod, and appreciate you guys for keep listening. And Dante, thank you so much for flying out and coming on.
Of course.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks.